aged 18 and 24. Indigenous Australians are an integral part of our game and our community. We also know that disadvantage still exists in many Indigenous communities. The challenge for us all is to work together towards real change, lasting change, change that ensures young Indigenous people have more opportunities to play our game, more opportunities to work in all levels of our game, and more opportunities to use our game to expand their leadership and employment skills. But still, we can do more. A little while ago, the AFL set a target of a 4% off-field Indigenous workforce across the AFL and state affiliates by 2012. And we believe this will ensure that the AFL is more reflective of the community we represent and also highlight the unique contribution and creativity Indigenous people bring to the workplace. It will give them a pathway into the top echelons of administration in the game. It's the same with multicultural communities. It's why we have multicultural programs using football to help new arrivals connect and engage with their local community. Since it started in 2005, our multicultural program has ensured that more than 50,000 people from migrant families have experienced AFL games and come into contact with their own local football communities. Our multicultural football schools program has been introduced into more than 200 schools and exposed nearly 20,000 students to the game. And we are very proud now that we have 12 multicultural development officers working across 4 states, and we recently appointed a full-time multicultural programs manager at the AFL, Ali Fahour. Finally, I'd like to talk about women because they are also a critical part of our game. Indeed, we know that women now represent 35% of all AFL club members and nearly half of the total of supporters who attend AFL matches. But they are more than just fans. They're also players, volunteers, officials, administrators, journalists and board members. But this always hasn't been the case. In fact, the way our game treated women in the past has been quite shameful at times. Many of you will remember the investigation into sexual assault allegations against 2 St Kilda players back in 2004, which led to the development of the AFL's Respect and Responsibility program. This program was developed in consultation with experts in the fields of sexual assault, domestic violence, as well as academics and AFL clubs, and has now been expanded to our state and community football leagues. The aim of the program is to build safe, welcoming and inclusive environments for all women at all levels of our game. We've also made a conscious decision to actively support a range of initiatives, such as White Ribbon, which aims to eliminate violence against women, and the Field of Women, 12,500 women dressed in pink walking on the MCG to raise awareness for breast cancer. I'm under no illusions that we still have some way to go to change the attitudes and behaviours of some men towards women. Recent events have proved that it would be foolish to think otherwise. But I'm also proud of what we've achieved so far, that we've taken an important leadership role. We're proud to have more than 750,000 people playing our game. We're proud that the AFL is now the 3rd highest attended sporting competition in the world. And we're proud that we're not just a $3.9 billion industry, but employ the equivalent of more than 11,000 jobs. But we need to be more than just Australia's leading sport. We genuinely believe we must also be a leader in the community. Investing in programs and policies for women, Indigenous and multicultural has not just helped us grow our game, it's also made our game richer for it. And as I said earlier, at times it's been painful, and I've got no doubt it will continue to be. But I also believe it's a non-negotiable for any organisation, business or industry, which operates in or claims to be part of a modern, diverse and proudly multicultural community like Australia. Thank you.
Maybe we might just take a couple of
Sure.
questions. Has anyone got a question for Andrew?
Is that the AFL has done very well with racial and religious vilification, In relation to homophobia, there seems to be a bit of stalling on that issue. I'd be interested to hear your take on where you think that can go and why that might have been the case.
This is actually a good point because it was brought up a few months ago, and I don't think there has been a stalling in homophobia. I actually think, and I know people I work with quite resent the fact that anyone genuinely believes that anyone at the AFL or within our industry is homophobic. I certainly know Jason Ackermanis maybe, but he's no longer in the industry. Like any group, that we get approached by various groups to help raise awareness, and we do our very best to cater for those as best as we can. And I've got no doubt in time we will do exactly the same to address the area of homophobia. And I do make the point that we repeat that we initiated in our racial vilification policy, adding to that policy the issue of disability discrimination and gender discrimination as part of our rules.
Any other questions? Let's run up the front and one down the back. We'll take these two. Yep, go ahead.
Has there been any push, to get more women involved in coaching, and not so much in the supporting roles, but also in coaching or leadership roles at clubs?
Look, there are several women involved in leadership roles at clubs. There are not many involved in coaching at the AFL level, but there are certainly many women coaches. We have 85,000 women who participate in our women's football across the nation, and we also have many who are involved in coaching at that level. We provide coaching courses for both men and women, but there's absolutely no barrier, no obstacle, no reason as to why there couldn't be women who were coaching at the senior level. It could be women at senior administration level, and I've said before, I hope one day there's a woman running the AFL that replaces me.
You've acknowledged already the 4% Indigenous initiative by 2012 in your off-field employment. Taking that sort of a lead, and your acknowledgement as to how much of a leadership role you guys take, how many organisations you're approached by to deal with awareness and education of the general community. I'm wondering if you've got a similar sort of a target for other minority groups, disability, women in off-field employment, things like that.
Yes, in fact, we were approached by the federal government 2 years ago to engage through Bill Shorten in their disability workforce program, and we set ourselves a target of having 50 people with permanent disabilities involved at AFL club levels and state levels, and we will actually achieve that target this year, which will be earlier than what we set ourselves, and we're very proud of that. Every club's taken on 2, and our state bodies have taken on some people with disabilities, which we're very, very proud of.
Andrew Coryell from the Australian Culture. Paul, I want to echo your comments that I don't think homophobia is widespread in the AFL, and we've seen many players support international day against homophobia and in various other ways. So thank you very much for your leadership role on that, and we look forward to seeing more. About 18 months ago on Insiders, you announced a change to a policy that included homophobia within the AFL. I think it was the racial vilification. Yes. But when I looked for it last week, it's still not updated on the website. Can you make a commitment it might be done by next week?
Well, I'll go one step further. The person that updates our website is probably out of a job as of about the next 3 minutes. Look, I'm not aware of that, but it would be a shame if it hasn't been updated, because certainly it's been in practice.
Thanks very much, Andrew. I think it was really great for the audience to hear about some of the ways in which positive actions, the development of rules and setting of standards and targets, things that are sometimes seen as controversial, can be picked up by an industry and a group and shown to enrich a game in the way that you just outlined. That was very helpful, thank you. I might now introduce the next 3 speakers, and they'll each make a short